Right here is fine.
All right.
Hand me that phone right there, bud.
What are we gonna do with that one?
That's what I was just going to do standard video because I didn't know if you want to get into Zoom or not. So I'll just do regular video for the time being.
We don't have a Zoom link right now.
Okay, we'll just do regular video just in case.
Okay.
Let me just get this going here. Alright, where's the camera at? Stand by, everybody. We should be going live here. Just get you here. Alright, Dr. Wade, I'm going to need you to come over here just a little bit more. Alright, that is perfect. Alright.
You still see this?
Yep.
Good all the way around?
Yes, sir. We are good to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're on.
We'll do the Macarena. Hey, hey, this is Dr. David Wade. I am excited about being with you tonight. We're going to talk about some things. We call this a spinal care workshop. We're going to talk about the spine and some issues that I think are important to us. Chiropractic is a modern natural approach to health. The very first time, approximately in 1982, which would have been 40 years ago, I was invited by Dr. Larry Webster to present the first of many spinal care workshops that I did. I'd never done one, and I was very nervous, to say the least, because I'm going to be talking in front of a large group of people at the downtown Lucky Street Clinic in Atlanta. And the way it worked was when you tuned into a workshop, and I think we're going to do the same thing. When you turned into a workshop, you were able to get a discounted initial visit. And so we're going to start doing the same thing. So if you know somebody who needs to hear what I've got to say about chiropractic and may benefit from going to a chiropractor, what I'm going to invite you to do is to invite them in right now to come in and participate in with us. And at the end of this talk, we're going to say, count me in, and they can write that in a message, and then we'll send them an invitation to come into the clinic at a significant discount through the nonprofit Wellness Education Foundation. They will join in as a nonprofit member and will be able to get a WellCare Network discount, which is available to all of the nonprofit members that we have. Part of the process of what we're doing here is trying to do something to educate the community and the health of our community, and try to make changes in the health of our region. I mean, we can make a difference, but we have to work together. And one of the things I'm asking you to do is be willing to share the hope of being able to be helped by what we do here. So we're going to talk about a modern natural approach to health. If you got anybody you think would benefit, please invite them in to tune in, and we're going to invite them at the end to say I'm in. And if they're wanting to participate, all they're going to do is write the message or type in the box at the bottom of the message sheet, I'm in, and we'll get information about that, okay? So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So here, let's talk about the purpose of tonight's workshop. It's to really share with you some basic facts about really concerning health and chiropractic. And we do this primarily to assist you in making better health decisions relative to what's going to support an optimal state of health. And that's also so that you can help in turn educate others. So part of the process here is you being willing to support our efforts in educating the public by being willing to educate other people as well. So let's go ahead and flip on over to the next page. So here we are. So let's take a look at how your body actually works. These are some common attitudes about health in general. The first one is that a symptom would be the first sign that a person's not healthy. So in general, that's kind of what most people believe, is that symptoms begin the process of indicating that a problem is beginning. And then a person should actually go to a doctor in accordance with their symptoms. So if you hurt really bad, you go really fast. If you don't hurt, you typically don't go. And then the cause of the problem is found by exploring the symptoms. The doctor will investigate the symptoms, find out about the symptoms, and then do whatever he can to treat the symptoms. So to help restore health, you work towards removing the symptoms, and that's the goal of the doctor in our current society today. And these are commonly assumed attitudes about health that are pretty prevalent. The last one here is the doctor's job is to remove your symptoms. Why? Because your body is unable to heal itself at that point. So these are some prevalent attitudes of perceptions that we all have about health and about why we become sick and why should we go to a doctor. So let's talk about some things relative to functioning. I have a double problem here. Justin wants me to hold this forward so it doesn't get glare on the thing, and so when I do that, it slips out of my hand, it's going to fall flat on the floor just like that. What we may have to do is come up with an alternative strategy, which is to maybe leave this up here, but it's not going to stay. All right, so let's talk about this. So what can happen here? Let's talk about the nervous system. This is one of the things that I specialize in, is the ability of the spine's natural function is to protect the nervous system. The nervous system, this particular picture shows the correlation between the structures of the spine, and it shows the relationship between how the nerves go from the spine, run from the brain, out, down the spinal canal, which is framed up by these stacked up bones. There's 24 moving bones. They pass freely through those open doorways along the spine, and they exit and they go throughout the entire body. This particular picture shows the autonomic nervous system, which is the automatic nerves that control mostly the internal organ functions, but the spine is the central frame, the hub of all of the major moving parts. All major muscles attach onto the spine, and there are 24 movable bones with a cushioned disc in between them that frames up a space or a doorway. They call it a foramina. It's an opening that basically allows the free passage of the nerves to wherever the nerve is going to go. Now, interestingly, developmentally, a newborn, well, actually a fetus developing in the womb of a mother, even before it's born, has an interesting thing that happens. The first thing that actually happens is the nervous system develops as the very first differentiated tissues in the developing fetus. The brain and the nervous system develops before the heart and before the spine. So the nerves are actually there before the spine is present. So what happens developmentally is the spine is going to grow around the nerves, and the purpose of that is primarily to protect them. So it's kind of an important system. The brain itself is encased in the skull. It's important. The brain is sort of the central hub for all of the life and vitality and information exchange of, in and out. And so basically, when your spine is not lined up properly, we call that a subluxation. It's an alignment problem that begins to choke down or have a negative impact on the flow of the nerve. The space, the doorway will close or shut down to a degree, and the nerve becomes choked off, and that basically begins to create a problem. That's what we call a subluxation. So wherever the nerve goes, basically this demonstrates the nerve where it goes to the stomach. So in this case, the person is going to end up having a stomach problem because that's the nerve that's involved. So a vertebral subluxation is a minor misalignment of the bones of the spine, which causes nerve interference and a loss of function or a loss of health. It's basically what a subluxation is. Not such a good thing. What do you think?
Not fun.
So let's take a look at this next panel, and this is sort of like an indication of the spine nerve relationship. The spine is kind of like a circuit board, if you will, where different circuits in a home will run into the primary panel and then distribute broadly to the different circuits in the home. And if you have an overload stress on a circuit, the circuit will shut off and the power basically gets closed off, And then basically, if it's going to lights, the lights won't work. If it's going to your stove, the stove won't work. Come on through, sweetie. And thank you. And if you have a circuit that's going to the air conditioner or the heater and it's electric, then it's not going to work if the power goes off. So kind of like when the switch shuts down, it's a problem. So the nervous system is very similar to a circuit breaker where you have this accumulated stress that blows the circuit. So what happens when the circuit blows with the nerve? Basically the flow stops, just like in a circuit board in a home. So if your body is overstressed, basically things begin to misalign and shut down. So let's take a look at how subluxations of the spine can, what does that mean?
15 minutes.
Okay, I thought I had 6 minutes.
No, you're good, sorry.
Okay, so let's take a look at the subluxations of the spine and how they can manifest themselves. So when the circuit board is fixed, the function is restored, right? So that's kind of interesting correlation between the spine. When you fix the spine and you're free up the flow of the nerves, then now you got the same reaction. The power comes back on, the body works better. So manifesting subluxations can develop into a variety of different types of symptoms depending on where they go. Now there's a couple of interesting factoids here, and we'll talk about it. One is like if you have a subluxation in the stomach area or up in the head, you can end up with symptoms of a headache. Or if you've got subluxations in the neck region, you can end up with neck pain. If you have subluxations at the base of the skull or the base of the spine, you can end up having some fatigue issues. If they affect the adrenal glands, you can have adrenal insufficiency and feel very fatigued and tired. Now, what can cause subluxations? Well, basically, different types of subluxations, they can manifest in different types of symptoms, everything from aches and pains to digestive problems. Here's an interesting one. Here's a situation where you have a subluxation, and what's it say there? No symptoms. What about that? So here's a problem that a spine may be out of alignment, the circuit may be blown, and the distribution of that nerve may be shut down or diminished significantly, but yet you have no symptoms. Now, why is that possible? Now, here's the answer. Only about 10% of the nerves in the body carry pain signals. Pain is actually used as part of the learning process. And you may have heard this from some research back in the 60s that says that we only use 10% of our brain. Now, the truth is we use all of our brain, but only 10% of our brain is used for learning. Pain being one of those components of learning. You touch something hot, you remember not to touch it again. That's for learning. Pain is a good learning tool. You'll do what you can to avoid that in the future. If you've ever hurt, you'll want to not hurt in the future if you've hurt really bad. So one of the things that we see with this is that having no symptoms does not mean that you are free from subluxations. And so that's kind of crazy. So how do you now, that kind of throws a wrench in the whole thing in the beginning when we talk about symptoms are the first sign of a problem. Well, we got to start looking at this a little bit more. So what can cause subluxations? The first potential cause of a subluxation, we call the first cause, is the birthing process. It's not uncommon for babies to be born with a lot of tension and pull. I have seen many young babies have fractured their collarbone in a normal delivery with that much pressure. It doesn't really take that much pressure to break a collarbone, but there's not uncommon to have up to 40 pounds of pull on a baby's neck and twisting along with that to be able to deliver a child. So there's a lot of pulling and pressure and twisting that's going on in the birth of a baby, and it is one of the very first things that we see. Here recently I've had several young children that have come in with subluxations from the birthing process. One was spastic, couldn't digest his food, was very fretful, very irritable, wasn't sleeping at night. Another one has started having spontaneous collapse of the lung. Very confusing to the doctors. They diagnosed her with asthma. She was like 3 years old when she came in. The doctors have still not really found the cause of her collapsed lungs, but they treat her medically with steroids and things like that. But we've started working with her mechanically, and it's amazing now that she doesn't have any more lung collapses, and her asthma symptoms are essentially disappeared. The young boy with the spasticity and the digestive issues and the not being able to sleep at night and digest his food, first adjustment, he started sleeping all night. Shortly thereafter, he started becoming more relaxed and at ease. The therapist that was working with a spastic neck that he had was wanting them to carry the baby to a neurologist because they were thinking he may have had cerebral palsy. But it was really just a subluxation affecting the nerve flow, affecting his problems. Now, we do see people with subluxations that have no symptoms. Interesting. Why would a patient come to a doctor and not hurt? Well, let's talk a little bit about it. So let's talk about this panel that actually looks at why people really do become sick. So, you know, a subluxation is sometimes caused by car accidents, sometimes by improper lifting, sometimes from slouching and affecting your posture. So everybody sit up nice and straight. Here's the first test. If you had to move, you failed the test, okay? So that's happens when we're watching our phones or, you know, sitting down. If you're slumping, then your posture is off. So some factual stages of illness. So let's talk about this. So here's the thing. Birth is a traumatic event, and that's where the first subluxation can actually develop. So vertebral subluxations can cause a loss of function, up to 40% function loss because of the structural misalignments. And in childhood, the average child, by the time OSHA says by the time they're 4, by the time they're 2, they've had about 2,500 impacts to their body. Can you imagine? By the time a child is 4,000 strains and falls and injuries to their body. Kids go through it. Now, you've seen them fall. They cry, you pick them up, there's no bone sticking through the skin. You say, oh great, they're okay. Or they're in a car accident, get thrown out of their seat or maybe tossed across the seat in a way, and you pick them up and you pet them and they quit crying and you say, oh good, you weren't hurt. Well, is that really true? You really don't know. And that's the problem because, as I mentioned, the nervous system only carries 10% pain fibers. So, in a teenager, Lord help, they have the best posture, right? They're never working on playing on video games or playing on their phones, but most people will experience their first auto accident during their teen years. Auto insurance rates for kids are sky high. Why is that? Because 100% of them end up in wrecks. And if it's not 100%, I mean, that's the average. Out of 10 people, there'll be 10 wrecks. Well, one person may not have any, but you got the other one that's having 4 or 5. So it all averages out. That's why the rates are so high, is because of the actuarial studies show that they're going to be in a wreck. By the time you're in middle age, malfunction lowers your resistance, and it becomes apparent in sporadic symptoms. And then as you get older, the function is even lower, and there's a lot of major. What was that?
We got rain coming our way.
Huh?
That we got a gust of wind coming our way.
Oh, great. So, chronic subluxations, there's a major loss of function and disease process and chronic ailments can occur. Do you know that the average Medicare age patient takes about 12 prescriptions? It's a lot, isn't it? So we see over time function progressively going away, which begins when? At the birth process, progresses on through childhood, worsens later, and it gets really bad by the time we're older. So there's a peak, drop, and decline in vitality. So let's talk about some health-promoting activities. Symptoms are the last phase of body dysfunction, not the first. We talked about symptoms being the first phase of functional loss, but it's not. They're the last phase. There has to be a problem already there before symptoms can even come on. A person who wants to be and stay healthy really should see a doctor who can remove the cause of their lowered resistance before their symptoms develop in the first place. Does that make a little bit of sense? So do you wait for symptoms to come, or do you see a doctor to make sure they don't come? It kind of is dependent upon if you're more reactive or proactive in your approach. The cause of health problems is found by exploring the source of the body imbalance, not the symptoms. A lot of times when a patient comes into our office, they want to talk all about what problems they've been diagnosed and this, that, and the other, and all their symptoms. And we have to slow things down a little bit. We talk a little bit about subluxation. We want to explain to them that we're more concerned about what causes their symptoms than their symptoms. We will talk about their symptoms, but and it is a component of importance, because if you listen to a patient, they'll generally tell you exactly what's going on, but what's more important, the symptoms or what's causing the symptoms? What's more important, get rid of the pain or the cause of the pain? So what we try to do, and what I think is important, is to help restore health and maintain health. One works towards preventing and removing the vertebral subluxation. That's a predominant focus of what we do in our office. And so I believe the doctor's job is to prevent and correct illness by removing the cause of the problem, and healthy people don't get sick, and the doctor's job is to help keep you healthy. Is it to eliminate symptoms, or is it to help make you healthy? Create an environment so that your body can innately heal itself. Now, when I first did the very first workshop with Dr. Larry Webster, he told me, he said, if you can get people to understand two things. Number one is that health is an above-down, inside-out process. Number two, the body innately is designed to heal itself. Those two things, above, down, inside out, the body heals itself. How does it heal itself? By an uninterrupted flow of God's love through the nerves in your body to carry life and power and vitality to all the parts of the body with no interruption. Good, fast, strong signals always will be better for your health. You'll always get better as that's able to accomplish. So that was sort of the beginning of my understanding of chiropractic. Above, down, inside out. That's the flow of healing. Where's the source? Up there. Where's the direction? Out there. So if we can get in tune with the alignment of God's love through us and get it out, that's why I think biblically it talks about how important it is to share the love of God with other people. People come to know who you are as a result of that flow in that direction. That is healing. That is health. That is salvation. It's the same word, basically. Salvation and health is the same thing. It's the same word. So if we can understand that healing is a flow that needs to be done, and innately the body is designed to heal itself, we're pre-programmed for self-repair, self-healing. So if you're interested in participating in this, go down onto Facebook and either message us if you don't want to put an individual message, and just say, I'm in, or I want that, or just let us know in some way. And what we'll do is we'll make available a significantly discounted evaluation. We'll do a free consultation always, but we will discount our evaluation if you've participated and attended this workshop. If this is something that you want. Now, if you're hearing this and you paid attention, then I'm going to be willing to allow you to share this video with whoever you want, and they can still message us at any time and get the discount. Okay? So if you want to be able to come in, I'm here to help you. The money is a secondary issue, honestly. I've always felt that money flows as a result of the service that we provide. It is not the primary purpose of what we do. Our primary purpose of what we do is participate in my mission is to help other people. I choose to participate in allowing the love to be able to flow towards your destiny of health. If we can do that, then we can accomplish what we need to do to be able to help you. So I think our time is pretty much up. What time is it now? 5 minutes? We're going to finish 5 minutes early. Share, like and comment and share this video. If you want to share it with anybody that you feel like would benefit coming up here, then ask them to watch the video and then comment or send us a message through Facebook, and we'll make sure that they get a discounted opportunity to come in the office. I'm going to extend this as long as this video runs on Facebook. So there's no specific time limit. We'll actually enroll you in the WellCare Network, and everybody in the WellCare Network gets a discount automatically. It's a discounted medical plan organization, and we want to be able to do everything in our power to be able to help you get and live a healthier future life. My job is to understand, and here's the thing, you have a destiny. You have a purpose in your life. My job is to make sure you get there healthy. That's my mission. My mission is to make sure you can accomplish what God's given you to do healthy. And the only way I can do that is to be able to have you be able to get, I have to be able to get my hands on you to be able to do something to help you. And that's what we're primarily interested in doing. So I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you liking and sharing and posting this to other people. Thank you so much for paying attention, and we're going to conclude tonight's little spinal care workshop. This is Dr. David Wade wishing you good health for a lifetime.
You're clear.